Good morning. Hello, good morning. Hi, good morning, Patty, Linda, Carolyn, and a few other folks that aren't on the chat part. Beautiful mid-May day. It is pretty out there. Does everyone have snow? Is there snow where you are, Patty? What is today? The 8th maybe, or 9th or something? I don't know the day. Oh, 9th. Yeah, lots of snow. But we all know not to uncover the gardens until after the May 2-4, right? It's so hard not to. So feel free to say hi and good morning and maybe where you are. And I'm going to paste a little quote here. There we go. And credit to author. Sonia Renee Taylor. There we go. Good morning, Zach. Hi, Kathy. I know, the goldfinches don't seem to mind the snow. I was worried about them this morning, and then they're like, perhaps they understand impermanence. Or just the desire for food. Could be either. Oh, I see. Maybe it doesn't let you put too many words in the chat. Oh, okay. Has to be 200 words. So let me see if I can trim this down. Cut. Oh, darn. Undo. Okay, I have to cut more. One sec. I couldn't just find the link to this poem, so I have to do it this way. If I can. There. Try this. Cut. No, it's still too many. Oh. That's disappointing. Okay, I'm going to do this instead. Da-da-da. Copy. Okay, here I am. Paste. That should do it. Good morning, Monty. Nice sunshine. Hi, Natalie. Oh, 9 o'clock. All right. We can jump in. So, yes, happy snowy morning. I didn't put boots on, but I did get my winter coat. Okay, welcome. So this is the True North Insight Dharma channel on YouTube. And when we're not doing YouTube videos, we're teaching retreats and courses and supporting folks individually with private support as well. And I am Jill Davey, one of the Dharma teachers from True North Insight. And as I often do at the end of these videos or the beginning, whenever, I ask folks if there's any topics or suggestions that they would like me to explore if I'm able to. And I received a wonderful prompt. So that's what's brought this talk this morning, but it's also something that's been percolating for me for a few weeks. But it was great. I really appreciate the question because I was able to dive in a little more into this exploration. So I'll share the question, the inquiry, and then we'll tuck into it. The question was about how to not cling, how to let go and to not cling, same. as we move forwards into the economy reopening, which is baby steps happening for us here in Ontario and in other provinces and other countries, happening at different rates depending on where they're at with the pandemic. And but it does seem it will need to happen at some point. So as we move towards the economy reopening, and then this person asking was anticipating a sense of clinging to what for them has been partially or largely an experience of stillness, quietness, quietude, coziness. Love that word, coziness. Lessened expectations, and having had built in more self-care practices. And so as we feel this anticipatory, the economy, it's gonna, we're gonna get a green light one of these days. How do we move into that skillfully without clinging and grieving, missing this time? So I just want to acknowledge that this is what I'm talking about is a response in particular to this, and to acknowledge that many folks will not grieve or miss this time and will not be clinging to it. For many folks, it's very painful time, a time of abuse, a time of maybe more expectations on them, or certainly all the parents that are homeschooling, and not a sense of coziness or quietude in their home. So, but these reflections will still, I hope, will still be relevant in your own exploration of what is skillful and what's not skillful, and what do we want to cultivate and what do we need to let go of, and how to do that. So I put a link there because I couldn't copy and paste the quote because it only lets you do 200 words in the chat, and it would be in 3 sections. So I didn't think this was that many words, but whatever. It's something I've shared before, and but I'm sharing it again because it's brilliant. And this is not from Rosemary. This one is from Sonia Renee Taylor, who is an author and activist and social justice speaker. And such a drag having to look at myself while I'm talking. It's not a drag, it's just distracting. So Sonia Renee Taylor says this: we will not go back to normal. Normal never was. Our pre-corona existence was not normal, other than we normalized greed, inequity, exhaustion, depletion, extraction, disconnection, confusion, rage, hoarding, hate, and lack. We should not long to return, my friends. We are being given the opportunity to stitch a new garment, one that fits all of humanity and nature. What we have been forced to leave behind, we need to leave behind. What is getting us through is what we will need to take forward. All the rest is up to us. So good. There's so much in there. I mean, she's saying our pre-corona existence was not normal, other than we normalized greed, hatred, and delusion. We could shorten it into that. This consumption, and in the question that I heard from this friend that I started the talk with, has a sense of that I don't want to go back into overworking and not taking enough care of myself and not having enough stillness and quiet, and having a lot of expectations on myself, and either self-imposed or imposed by others. So it's speaking to that. And this is something I've been having a lot of conversations about, or a few anyways, with myself and with my partner around exactly this. Worried that when the green light comes, the habits will take over and compel us, or myself, I'll speak for myself, into saying yes to too much, being too busy, not fitting in the time to make really good meals, which I'm so enjoying doing, and having a walk every day or two, and all these good things that I've built into this time, been privileged to. And so, and the conversations we've been having about the environment and each other, and taking care of each other, and taking care of the earth, which is our own body. How do we really have a strong intention about how we're moving forward into reopening the economy and reopening our response to that? And as Sonia says here, what we have been forced to leave behind, we needed to leave behind. What is getting us through this is what we will need to take forward. All the rest is up to us. We can see it's not up to the government. It's not up to the earth is not going to have a chance to breathe and move towards some degree of healing if we leave it up to our economists and our politicians. It is only up to us. It has always been up to us. And to really use this time to be so intentional about this feels very important to me, and hopefully to you as well. So what is getting us through this? To look at those things, as the author of this question said, the stillness, the quietude, the coziness, lessened expectations, and self-care practices. So clearly articulated there, of really knowing what is it that's supporting me. And for folks that are finding this a really painful time, the physical isolation, the being in a home that doesn't feel supportive and safe, what is it that's getting you through this? There must be still some care you're taking there. The times you do get yourself out for a walk or a drive, or the meals you make, or the time you spend just being quiet, in whatever degree you can get it, to really discern for yourself, what is it that is getting you through, that you need to really hold with a strong intention to bring forward. So I wanted to talk about what the Buddha teaches about desire. and longing, because this question is how to not cling to these things that have been wholesome and helpful and skillful, but maybe also how to grow these intentions without clinging. So there's two different words here. Tanha, Tanha. Maybe for folks that are interested in Pali. So Pali is the language that teachings of the Buddha were first written down in, and Chanda are the two words. Oh, error, try again. So the looks like chat's not working right now for some reason. So I hope you can still hear me. Oh well, it says chat isn't working. Okay, Tanha is the word for what it really means is thirst. And it's the cause of dukkha. So it's the cause of stress. So in the Four Noble Truths, the Buddha discerned and taught that and awakened to the fact that life is painful and stressful. We have things we want that we can't get. We have things that we're experiencing we can't get rid of until they pass. We can't force anything away or force anything to us. We experience aging, sickness, and death. And these are all part of the nature of life. But he was then able to discern that it's not really all those things that are the most stressful, painful part. It's the clinging to wanting or not wanting, in short, the clinging to myself. And so this word tanha is literally translated as thirst or drought. And it's this sense of, you can imagine, like drought. Imagine, being in a desert and no water, and that desire to have that wanting quenched. It's a very strong sensation, but it's actually propelling us pretty much all day, every day, unless we're completely liberated and enlightened. Tanha is, so from the Pali Dictionary, drought, thirst, craving, hunger for, a fever of unsatisfied longing, and greed for. And the Buddha apparently said that all phenomenon are rooted in desire. That everything, we're born from desire. If you believe in past lives, we're reborn from desire. Even moment by moment, we're reborn by desire, wanting. We're always moving to get or not get. And so this is just a characteristic of life. And the only thing that is not rooted in desire is nibbana, which in Sanskrit is nirvana. So nibbana is, liberation, freedom, the kind of the putting out of the flames of desire. And however, the path that takes us to nibbana, nirvana, the path that takes us to the ending of suffering is rooted in desire. So to get to a place of freedom from desire, we need the path that also has a desire in it. So there's kind of a sense sometimes that, all desire is bad, and the Buddha teaches, no desire, etc. But we need to have certain kinds of desire in order to in order to experience freedom. All right. So There's another word, so tanha and chanda. I'm not able to write it down because chat isn't working for some reason, but chanda is Chanda, chanda. And chanda is another word that's translated as desire, but it's not, it means impulse, intention, resolution. It's also described as a virtue in terms of being ardent, desire, zeal. And when it's part of the path, it's called Dhamma Chanda, which means the desire for awakening, the desire to be on the path of skillfulness, of kindness, of freedom. So desire is part of the path, certain skillful desires. And but you can hear it's different. And I think that the person asking the question was, can lean towards this concept of chanda, of a resolution, intention, the desire, the impulse to retain, as Sonia said in her quote, what we need to take forward. And this is skillful, wise, and helpful, important. And so it's not inherently bad to have these desires. Of course, the trick is not to cling to them, which the question also pointed to. So we need to cultivate intention, resolution, desire, even the will for, the zeal, and at the same time, not cling to that. Okay, so more about what the Buddha said about this. Most of our desires in daily life, when we're not really being intentional, are the sense desires, sensual, not meaning sexual, but well, that would be part of it, but sense desires, all the sense doors, what we want to eat and see and touch and feel and think, and all the pleasant that we would like to attain. But also, we can have this in our goals of, whatever things we want to get and attain, become who we want to become. And I think by now you have experienced the unsatisfactory nature of those desires. They're so fleeting, so temporary, whatever it is, even if you're like, oh, I really want to climb Mount Everest or something grand like that, and then you get there and place your flag and climb back down. And then it's memory. Then it's done, so then, is it on to the next thing, or is it just like, is there clinging there to that? Like it doesn't, within that attainment, it doesn't hold anything satisfactory. It's certainly an accomplishment, but to what end? So that's just an example. Of course, we could apply that example to anything. I want to whatever, all the things we want. We know that they're not satisfactory. So what is satisfactory? What is intention that is wholesome, skillful, fulfilling, nurturing? And the Buddha taught this actually to his son Rahula when he was 7. So these are instructions to a 7-year-old. So I think we can work with this if this is what he's teaching his 7-year-old son, it's applicable to us. Unless there's anyone here on the video that's 6, then maybe you're exempt for another year. Not really. So, yeah, let's skip that. Okay. Okay. So the Buddha, when he was talking to Rahula, he gave him the instruction to be aware of, this goes back to the talk on intention that's also here on YouTube, wise intention, right intention, our bodily, verbal, and mental actions. So this is part of right action, part of the noble path, and right speech, another part of the middle path here, and right thought, wise thought, and our intentions. So his instructions to his son Rahula are, he told Rahula to focus on his intentions before acting, right? So before we act, be aware of our intentions. And then if we see, or in this case, okay, let me finish that thought. I'm jumping ahead. Okay, he told Rahula to focus on his intentions before acting and on the results of his actions, both while he was doing them and after they were done. And I can just feel some eyes rolling, like, that's how are you supposed to accomplish anything if you're thinking before I do it, and you think aware while you're doing it, and reflecting after having done it. Try it. You can actually. It's not impossible. It doesn't mean you have to move super slow, but I think we have this intuitive awareness when we're actually doing something. We're like, ooh, that's feeling mucky. There's a residue here. Oh, I see that this is harmful to others. Oh, I see a reactivity in others. We can reflect on it after when we see, and we can have some intention going into thought, speech, and action. So then he says, if Rahula saw that his intentions would lead to harm for himself or others, he should not act on them. So if we see, when we look at our intentions, we can kind of imagine, foresee that this may likely lead to harm, not only for others, but for myself. So this comes back to that first question that I started the talk with, going forward, I feel an intention to keep some of these skillful, wholesome things, because I can see how they nurture me. The stillness, the care, the space, and the kindness with expectations. So this is very wise. You're already on this path of looking at your intention and seeing, okay, what intentions do I think will be not harmful to me and will actually be conducive to wisdom and peace. So we look at our intention. Do we think it's going to be harmful to ourselves and to others? Then, if we see that our thoughts, words, or deeds actually do produce harm while they're happening or after the fact, then we should stop them and resolve never to repeat them. And actually, the instructions go on to actually feel some remorse, regret, that when we see we've done something unskillful, or even our intention was wholesome, skillful, but it's caused harm, then we can still say, okay, even though my intention was not harmful, it's been hurtful, I'm going to resolve to not do that again. I'm going to resolve and to actually feel the remorse, regret of that is part of this path. And so then conversely, if on the other hand, we see no harmful consequences, then we should take joy in that and nourish that to continue. So in this reflection, to really look at our intentions and look at how our actions, what effect they have while they're happening and in hindsight. So these three reflections, contemplations, intentions. And if what we're doing is helpful, is nurturing something that needs attention, needs care within us, it is very good and important to do. And without clinging. So the clinging. Okay. Okay, before I go there, I know, I hear you, Lee, talking too much. I just want to point out this from the suttas. Okay, there were 4 other talks here on right effort, the 4 different right efforts. And in the wording of right effort, it says, what is right effort? There is the case where one, a meditator, generates desire, endeavors, arouses persistence, upholds and exerts one's intent for the sake of the non-arising of unskillful mental qualities. And it goes through the 4 right efforts, and so there, to generate desire here is part of the path. Generating desire for the sake of non-greed. So not all desire needs to have a flavor of greed to it, see? So then how not to cling is to contemplate skillful desires, skillful intentions, skillful resolutions. And then if we find, oh, that's my intention, but it was actually harmful to others, okay, how do I need to rework that and make it so it's as skillful as possible? And also the thing with letting go, some of you have heard me say this a lot, how do I say this? We can't just tell ourselves to let go. If we're holding on to something, the clinging is there. To just say, well, let go of it doesn't usually work because there's some desire, unwholesome desire there that's clinging to it. But to actually look at, how am I holding on to it? How am I being active in clinging on to something that's unskillful? So really the reflection is around what is skillful, wholesome, conducive, and taking care of yourself is part of that, definitely, as well as being of service into the world, and to really look at what do we need to leave behind. And then we don't just let go of the outcome. There is a degree of that, but if something is harmful, then we do take that into reflection. Okay, I should stop. Last thing. So this, the Buddha also talks about what are called effluents, which are, they're called asavas in Pali, for those that are interested, Asavas. And it translates as effluent. And if you look up effluent in the dictionary, it's like, the sewage waste. It's the pipe with the outflow of the garbage. And a lot of our usual desires are of that nature, effluent. They're like the wanting, the greed, aversion, delusion, flavor. And I find a helpful image. These can create a real flood, a real stream of which we are trying to go against the stream. And so we can create an island for ourselves, create an island in that outflow of habitual desire. And part of the way to create that island, to stand amidst the habits, this is built on skillful desire, the desire for our practice, the desire for good nurturing food, the desire for enough rest, the intention for good company, skillful company. So these are part of chanda, wholesome, skillful intentions, resolutions that will create an island for us amidst the flow, the push of our habitual desires. All right. Let's get ready to have a sit. I sure hope the video is still working because the chat is for some reason offline. Let me just try it again. I don't think it is working. No. Oh, well. 16 people are still here, so it must be working. Yes. Okay. I'm assured. Thank you. I can hear you saying, it's okay, Jill. We're here. So let's get ready for a sit and to practice how to feel into and practice with these intentions. So you could set aside any visual devices and just let yourself tuck into listening. You can lay down, you could sit, you could stand. So as you're settling into your posture, I will read a little poem from, yes, Rosemary Watola Tromer. So such a groupie. And this one's called Reality TV. And I did link to this poem down below, as well as to Sonia's website. So picture yourself in this as you're settling into your posture. And see which part of the screen, which side of the screen you find yourself on. It's called Reality TV. In this episode, we are sitting in a warm, sunlit room with our eyes closed. The camera pans around us to show us motionless. We sit. We don't say anything. The only sound is the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional grumbling stomach. The cameraman gets bored and starts to zoom in and out on a white ribbon, a stray gray hair, a pimple on someone's cheek. Somewhere a producer is shouting, "Quick, go to a commercial. Whose idea was this? A bunch of meditators." He spills his coffee on his tie. After, a man tries to sell swabs that whiten teeth, and a wrinkleless woman promises a spotless, germ-free toilet, the show resumes. And we are still here, still sitting here, eyes closed. All around America and Canada, hands are fumbling for the remotes, but somewhere, a woman with two young children, two young fighting children, and a leaking roof and thin walls in her cold apartment, is standing in front of her small screen, riveted in disbelief, wondering just how she might manage to find herself someday on a show like that. So allow yourself these few precious moments, if you're able to, of stillness, silence, eyes closed or resting. Feel the sense of all of us sitting together. And perhaps is here aware of the occasional sound, the hum of the refrigerator or the grumbling stomach or others in your home. And then use your intention to set your intention. Reflecting on this talk, what intention do you have? What do you wish to cultivate? Going forward. What's been skillful for you, helpful? What parts of this time of physical isolation have been good for you? Are there any? Can you find what has been helpful? What's gotten you through? And likewise, you could take a few moments to reflect and bring awareness to we've been forced to leave behind. That maybe needs to stay left behind. Less driving, less shopping, less consumption. And then seeing how these intentions for renunciation, non-ill will, non-harm, really are echoed in our metta practice, our loving kindness practice. And these are here without clinging. May I be happy. May I be safe from physical and mental harm. May I be well, physically, mentally. And may I be peaceful, equanimous with whatever comes to pass. Free from clinging. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be well. May I be peaceful. And in the silence of these next minutes, keep repeating these phrases of metta for yourself. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be well. May I be peaceful. And part of our skillful intention is the awareness of each other and our world. So now bring into your awareness someone that is dear to you, someone that it's easy for the heart to connect to well wishes for. And cultivating this intention, this resolution or desire, skillful desire for dear ones. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be well. May you be peaceful. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be well. May you be peaceful. And if your mind or body has moved away to other thoughts or habits, desires, come back to cultivating this chanda, this skillful intention, repeating the phrases, resting with the heart. And now letting go of that and bringing into your awareness, your heart, mind, chitta, someone that is difficult for you, challenging, somewhere there's some slight resolve. And this could be someone personal to someone that you know, or it could be a politician or a group of people that is challenging right now. And see that having the intention of wishing them to also be safe and well, peaceful, happy, kind. That this is a wholesome wish for our own being and for others. Bringing a difficult or challenging person to your awareness or group of people. And again, allow yourself to feel into this wish, this intention. May you be happy. May you be safe and free from harm. May you be well in body and mind. May you be peaceful, free from suffering, free from clinging. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be well. May you be peaceful. And lastly, we bring this skillful intention, perhaps related to the awareness of what we've been forced to leave behind is actually what we needed to leave behind in some cases, for the sake of the earth, for all beings everywhere, for those who do not have the resources that we have, for the inequities, for the depletion of the earth. So for all beings everywhere, without exception, including all of the other species of life on this earth, not just human, for the earth itself, may all beings everywhere be happy, know true happiness. May all beings everywhere be safe and free from harm. May all beings everywhere have wellness of body and mind. And may all beings everywhere know true peace, freedom from clinging. So this image of the island in the stream of desire, the stream of greed, the stream of aversion, the stream of delusion, the island, when where I live, there's a river, and there's often fly fishing people in the river, and they stand in the river, with hip waders on. And I haven't done that, but I imagine there's times when standing in the river, you can really feel the force of the stream. Sometimes this force is too much, and it would be unwise to try to stand in the river. But this island of intention, resolve, is where we can feel those forces. And for some of us, I think in this question that started the talk, there's this sense of the island and feeling the force of the economy is going to reopen, and I'm already anticipating and feeling that push to get back on that wagon. And it's such a precious time right now to feel that force and to know what that feels like in our being. And this is when we can really realize our intention. This is Thanissaro Bhikkhu, I think. I didn't write down the author. Pretty sure it's Thanissaro. That says, that's when you realize that you made the right choice not to continue with your old ways, sloshing around in the world, but actually taking a stance and keeping it solid. Yeah. So it's such a good question and important reflection. And please take the time to do this now, while you have the time to do this now, to really reflect on these questions. there is no going back to normal. And what are we intending to go back to? It's not back to, but what are we intending to move forward with? So important to really get clear about this. And for me, it's going to take a lot more discernment and investigation. All right. So I realize the chat's not working. Hopefully this stream is still working. And if not, I'll do it again. Yeah. So I will be back here Wednesday evening, 7:30 to 8:30. I'm so happy to receive any suggestions for topics you're interested in. So please get a hold of me. Down below, if you click that little arrow, you'll get more information, and the links to support True North Insight are there. A link to offer support to me in any amount is there, and it is greatly appreciated as this is my income now at this time. And also, I also support people privately, individually if you need that. And the links to Rosemary's poem and Sonia's quote are down below as well. Okay. I don't think anyone's able to say goodbye, but I know you are in your heart. And so thank you for showing up, and wishing you skillful intention, wishing me and all of us skillful intention, and keep reflecting on this question of Tanha and Chanda, skillful desire. All right, dears, see you